Hello everyone and welcome to BudsAnatomy, a BusyBuds Co Web Series where we talk about personal and organizational health and how to boost your performance. Even as we go through this program and our shows, we're not actually trying to give you a full solution or tell you how to manage it. We do understand that employees and leaders alike are having so many challenges expecting to make decisions in this time of uncertainty. But we'd like to make sense of this by going through it together. Joining me here are our consultants and founders, Arif.
Hi.
Kathy.
Hello.
And myself, Isabel. Hi, everyone. So, Buds, what are we talking about today?
Since we're all stuck at home, what are the realities of it? What are the challenges of it? And we thought we'll start off with understanding the dimensions of work from home.
While we did discuss several things before, I think there were three major areas that we considered were dimensions that we wanted to focus on.
So I guess we're starting from the biggest chunk of the pie, which is, understanding the relationship and the needs of the organization, the employer, and the employee while we're in this new environment and this new landscape. How do you run your organization? How does the organization thrive or survive, at least, while we're in this uncertain state?
I think people are scared a little bit, and especially people with payroll. So we've kind of tried to understand the three dimensions from this is from the employee's perspective on how am I working better and how can I show my employer that I am working and not Netflixing and chilling. From the employer's perspective, we are looking into how we can boost their productivity, the employee's productivity, even though they're not in a controlling environment.
Well, in terms of an organization, I guess it's overall whether the organization is going to survive this time and whether or not it can even operate or continue to operate in a time where you have your employees working from home. A lot of companies, even some large ones, they still prefer to keep things within the office for security purposes as opposed to transitioning online. So I think it's really a time where companies that have yet to adopt technology or a cloud database will be forced to do so even more now after realizing the actual need for it when, working from home is becoming something that looks like it might even be here to stay just because people have experienced it. And now you do have that option to create avenues of productivity and a new work culture entirely.
How do we then look at what systems that we're currently using that does work for us in this landscape? And what are some of the systems and processes that don't work?
There was a quick survey done about a year ago on if there was any kind of disaster, what would be the first step employers would take? And that survey showed 81% chose to have their employees work from home. Unfortunately, there has not been enough systems established up until this point. People are now forced to think, what do we do now, especially moving forward to future of the workplace?
And that, I think, nicely wraps up this first point and dimension that we're going to be looking into in our future episode. The next dimension is the matter of accountability. There are three key areas that I know we thought to look into, which is communication, initiative, and discipline.
Talking about accountability means how do I then operate in the best possible way? And I think this goes beyond even just working from home. I think this is a major problem that happens even while we're in the office. There tends to be a culture of dependency that is built within an organization, right from onboarding. I think it does matter the manager and the team, how all the different parts work together. But I think at the root of it all, it is a matter of dependency and lack of trust.
So accountability really wraps that up really nicely in a sense where you are independently working, you're independently giving your time and effort to prepare an environment that is better for yourself and better for the community you're working for. That matter of understanding what rational discipline means and the habitual discipline is all that we do.
I would like to tie all three in together. So you picked up on the word independence. One word that really struck out to me on top of that would have been trust. Trust goes two ways. Trust is built. Yeah. And when we look at these three things, communication, initiative, and discipline, it is how they interact with each other. Communication is actually the linchpin holding these two things together. If I communicate that I appreciate initiative and that you do have the room to play with initiative, that could work in addressing some issues of accountability as well.
Emerged for me was also the word interdependence. You guys pointed out it's also connected. And so that matter of interdependence comes with that independence, as Arif said, that trust, as you mentioned, all of that communication really comes together to work to make one smooth flowing machine?
This is a very tough issue. One of the most vague areas I personally feel is, how do you measure that productivity?
I feel like a lot of us, we enjoy that type of work that kind of gives us energy, the kind of work that we understand what are the impacts of it. And so I think in relation to task and goal, it's also a matter of activity versus impact, right? And I think one of the quotes that describes that to me is, movement, just as you're sitting on a rocking chair, doesn't necessarily mean progress.
I think with that, my imagination immediately pops onto, say we have a website loading and or a game loading, there's a progress bar. Instead of the progress bar, if you had just the engines named, all the things, the task that is running in the background, we would not understand, we would probably get bored of it, and we would not do enough. We don't know, we have no direction to move into. But the moment we have that progress bar, we know, okay, 60 minutes left or 60 seconds left to have this done. And when we have that kind of goal, and I think we have also had a paradigm shift, and as Zubin mentioned, we're not just talking about how to work from home, but we're also trying to integrate other key aspects that people have been working for such a long time, like moving from KPI, key performance indicator, to objectives and key results. So how do you now then define your objectives and then have those key results in place so you can have milestones to have that progress?
Everyone is so used to using KPIs. How are we going to be able to move away from KPIs to objective key results? And what is the difference between these two concepts even? And how does it make a difference or impact the workplace? What's the end goal for us by introducing this tool as opposed to the older tool that people are now more comfortable using?
I think what we want to leave off with is saying that, just as Zubin mentioned earlier, we don't have the answers, but we want to figure this out together. And, just as the name BudsAnatomy says, we're trying to dissect, we're trying to figure it out, we're trying to get our hands dirty, because we all know that it's never one-dimensional at any time.
Okay, so be sure to follow us as we keep you updated weekly. We'd like to give our viewers a little something you can use to reimagine the way you work from home. It's a free reflection tool, so just click the link in bio or direct message us your name and email, and we'll send it over to you. Thanks, and have a great working week ahead, everybody. See you next Wednesday. In our next episode, we're going to talk about the needs and relationships of employee, employer, and organization. Be a bud. Join us as we journey together towards growth and better performance.